pull up. I have not seen them blind on the number. I'm assuming he probably did pretty good because the show was decent, and they had a new look. Well, I didn't. It wasn't much different to me, to be honest. Yeah, like everybody's saying, "Oh my god, this new look." I'm like, it's not really a new look.
864 down 12,000.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because this show. Well, so, but it's funny because it's not because it was because Alvarez and like a lot of the dirt sheet Mark podcasters were really raving about the show, and like the formula there has been like if they're raving about the show, then the show's probably not that good, or it's not going to do good in the ratings. And that's been the like that happened here, I guess, because I thought the show was decent too, but since the dirt sheet guys and the Marks thought it was good, it doesn't draw. it's kind of funny, like they're trying to draw numbers, and they do a show for their base, and it does well with the base, but it doesn't resonate outside their echo chamber. And I have we'll get in a discussion. I think I have a theory about that, about what they're doing, like philosophically wrong. But we'll get into that. Konnan, what, just off the bat, before we get in the review, what did you think of the show last night?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I did too. And
the thing is that it just feels like they don't have the steam they had before. They kind of seem a little bit stale. They've had a lot of bad shows, so one out of a lot of bad shows doesn't really pop off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a time when they were having continuous good shows. They've lost their way. It's not an easy thing to do, or anybody could be a booker. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Who's gaining a lot of what's the word I want to use?
Momentum.
A lot of stock in this narrative. CM Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me tell you,
because the numbers were we've had a significant amount of time he's been off TV, right? And the numbers are significantly compared to the time he was on. Like you could do a pretty good metric that he drew fans, right?
Well, he was their biggest star. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, but he's not an easy guy to deal with, so you gotta.
Right. It's just
at what time do you cut bait? Because we've had it in WCW where you're like, okay, this guy's talented, but he's always showing up late, or he's always showing up, or he doesn't want to do jobs, and there comes a point where you've got to draw the line, right?
Let me give you a perfect example. Me and you have 35 years in the business,
right?
I've got 30. We have a lot of experience, right?
Right.
Looking at these metrics, looking at the talent. Looking, everything involved, we would have a pretty good way to navigate this thing, like from experience, correct?
Right.
Like, Tony's been in this business for how long? Like 3 years,
right?
3.5 years.
It's like, bro, these things like these.
He's still in diapers, bro. And the thing is that I don't want to sound vainglorious. What a tremendous word
that is. Is it a word? Look that up, Joe.
It's a word.
Is it really?
Absolutely.
I question that. I doubt that.
Go ahead, Joe. Look it up and let's shut.
Look it up and look at the different definition. I think.
Yeah.
Vainglorious means excessively proud of oneself or one's achievements. Overly vain.
Boom.
Okay, so that's all right. So that works here.
So, not to sound vainglorious, but the thing is that, bro, it's like anything else. If you've never been a booker, you can read about it. You can talk about it. You can talk to people that were bookers. Unless you're there, you don't understand that a booker goes through. It's a very thankless situation because when you do what the talent wants, you're the best. When you don't, you have something against them, and you can never make everybody happy. You've got to push so many guys at the same time. You got guys that don't want to wrestle with other guys. You got guys that, are trying to tell you, hey, these guys are talking to me. I don't know if I'm going to stay. What do you want? If you give me this, I'll stay. If you don't, I'm going to leave. And so you're wondering, there's so many things that people don't know about. And here's the biggest thing. You have no idea how big.
The key point is the stuff that people don't know about.
Right.
The private conversations.
And you would have no idea how big a baby and insecure, and I understand why, the biggest stars actually are.
Right.
They're afraid to lose their spot. They're afraid that everything they work for, somebody's going to come and take it away, not understanding that the only good person that can take away your spot is you. You know what I'm saying?
And this is the thing too. And also, you've dealt with this countless times, where you have a vision of talent, and in your mind you have a story where it's going, and you are looking at the successful conclusion to the story because you have this mapped out.
Right.
And then you talk to the talent, and sometimes the talent's like, "Oh, I didn't think of that."
Right.
Not the talent has a better idea than you did.
Right.
You know, something. But a lot of oftentimes like that. So how do you navigate around that? Because you have your idea, you have the talent's idea. So then the talent's idea, then you go to the other talent where the talent's idea is like, and that talent has a better idea than the talent that gave you. Like it's, bro, you have to navigate the exchange of ideas to try to do the best television you possibly can. And it's, bro, like all these dirt sheet guys, all these people that have never been in the business, they can question booking stuff. Bro, unless, I just say, walk 1 mile in a booker's shoes.
Bro, it's like watching it's like anything else. You can criticize all you want and think it's easy until you're there, you know?
Right.
And I've always brought up this analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big sports fan and a big fan of, let's say, the Boston Celtics. I can tell you every member on the team, every person on the bench. I can tell you their history. I can tell you. So yeah, I'm just a well-informed fan. Bro, I can't know more than the coach. He's there. He's a guy that knows everybody's personality, how hard they try at practice. You know, if they even show up. You know, if they're professional. You know, there's so many things that we don't know about. If they're playing with an injury, you know what I'm saying? And so it's easy to second guess people, but you're not there.
Right.
Same thing with booking.
Right. So let's get in the show. AEW Dynamite. It starts off with a Jericho Starks match. Good match. They worked well. I will say this. Okay, and I was texting somebody just not a few minutes ago, and we were talking about, like, you know, how guys get over on the show, you get pops and stuff and all that. And bro, this crowd was live, okay, and they were hot and they were with everything. And I'm like, you know, like watching them work and everything, and all of a sudden out of nowhere is like, you know, everything they were doing. You know, Jericho's an old school guy. He's safe. He works. You know, he doesn't. He's been bleeding. He's been diving into the indie stuff, doing a lot of bleeding. You know, stuff like trying to like appease the indie this fan base and everything. Bro, like out of nowhere, this was completely unnecessary because the pops they were getting on the show. Jericho gave Starks a suplex from the apron to on the floor. And I'm like, look at it. I was watching this match. I'm like, okay, Jericho's older. This kid's younger. Jericho's slower. This kid's faster. But Jericho has good psychology. I was like, why? I'm like looking at Chris. Why are you doing that? And then that's my only criticism of this match. It's like you didn't have to. This crowd was completely live. You should know to read the room. They're popping and everything. Why am I giving a spot that physically hurts this guy? It doesn't feel good taking a spot, you know, as like I was just thinking, like, you know, like Chris is like, you know, maybe to like, he thinks to stay relevant, he has to like engage in this fan base and do these spots. Like that was my only criticism of the match, but I'm being very critical of it because I would expect Chris not to do that because like he could read the room, the crowd. I don't need this suplex on the floor to give to this kid, especially since I'm going to lose the match. Now, what they did was, and it's funny, I'm going to put myself over, okay? They did the Boston Crab spot. Did you see how much mileage they got out of the Boston Crab spot in this match? Where he had the walls of Jericho on him, and he's crawling to the ropes. Bro, the crowd was into it. Me and Chris worked on an independent when we were doing house shows together, and that was his finish, the walls of Jericho. Mm-hmm. And I was just telling him, like, hey, one day, like they do this. Everybody knows you're going to beat me, but like, put me in the walls of Jericho. Let me fight to the ropes. And as soon as I almost get there, like, pull me back in, and then I'll tap out. Bro, we did it the first time we did it. Bro, the crowd popped. They were getting with the struggle of getting, like, hey, yeah. You know, and then, bro, he did that here, and they went overboard with it, and they really made a thing. The only thing I didn't like about this, bro, you're going to hit the guy with a hammer and have him your finish, and the guy's going to end up reversing. Come on. It's like they did not need that hammer to the head spot on this or anything. But I love this. Jericho goes, Ricky Starks goes over. The heels come in and get heat. The green kid what's his name?
Starks.
No, not the guy that does a run in to save Starks. Action Andretti. Oh. Action Andretti comes in.
First of all, what a brutal name, Action Andretti. But
okay,
go ahead.
But what they did was here the beatdown. The only guy doing the good beatdown was Daniel Garcia. Okay, Sammy, Jake Hager, and all these guys. Well, actually, the other two guys did. The Dar 2.0 guys did. But Sammy and Jake Hager's boots on the guy in the floor were terrible. Okay, bro, if you want to do a beatdown, look like you're trying to kick the guy on a street corner because he owes you money, right? Daniel Garcia was playing a good beatdown. The other guys weren't. Okay, Action Andretti comes out, and I'm not buying him. He did things and stuff, but they basically shut down the heat. They shut down the baby faces, and the heels stand strong because Jericho can read the room, and he hears everybody saying that nobody's going to get over in an angle with Jericho and stuff. And like Ricky Starks got the win, but Jericho got his heat back. I guarantee you that was by design because that's going to get him even more heat because people are going to complain that he couldn't give this guy just a clean win and a victory. He had to get his heat back, and then the segment worked. I was being critical of a couple specific things, but this worked for me. What did you think?
Yeah, this looked like something Jericho booked. You know what I'm saying? And he's very smart, and I think some of those things that you're saying of him taking not bumps that aren't necessary, especially at this stage in his career, is he's like us, bro. He tries to over deliver. He doesn't want to be with everybody else. He wants to stay on top, and he over delivers. And so, I'm cool with that. He not necessary, like you say, but I'm cool with that. Right. I think right now I think he knows, bro. He can't really get too much bigger than he is. He's a legend. He's done it all. He's one of the greatest of all time. And it's his turn to make people. And I think he wants his legacy to be known as a guy that helped make people and not hold them back, while at the same time retaining his heat, because you can't make people if you don't have any heat. Right. So I'm okay with him retaining his heat. I don't see I love the idea of bringing in Parker and Rod or whatever, the guys we gave the rub to. Right. Making it look like, Ricky Starks might lose and needing people to help him to make Ricky a bigger star. How long has Hager been there? He just doesn't seem like he's over at all. It looks
like he has no clue what his gimmick is.
Right.
Been there since the first show.
Right. And, but anyways, that's his boy and he ain't going to let him go. But he adds nothing. I just thought it was, they're making Starks, which is good. The crowd was super hot,
right. This is a live crowd.
Good, good way to start the show.
Very good for the show, for the audience. Okay.
And I also liked. Let me also say one more thing. I also liked when Starks did the Undertaker walk with the little strut.
Right. I don't like. I was going to bring that up. I don't like that.
Yeah, I liked it.
I know it's a gimmick and stuff, but that's kind of like par for the course for this show because they're not like adhered to the suspension disbelief as much as they are like the WWE.
Well, at that point, he's just trying to entertain. You're walking the top rope. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm like, when you do that, the guy should just pull you off. If I was working, if I had a match with Ricky Starks, say, hey, when you do that, my character would yank you off and you take a big bump in the ring.
Like, more guys should do that.
Right. Yeah, more guys should. Right. That's what I would do to you. So I wouldn't stand there and let you do your strut. Right. So that's like what I always told people. Like, hey, if you want to dive on me outside the ring, my character, because I've been on social media, I've been talking about this, I would move out of the way. So if you want to do a dive, you're going to hit the floor. Right. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the dive. So, whatever. Like you can do that, when you're laying on a match. So next is Adam Page comes out, and he didn't have any what do I want to call, like, more feminine cowboyish outfit on. He kind of looks like a he had like the denim jacket on and everything. It's fine. And bro, he's taller than I thought he was. Yeah. I thought he was smaller because like
no, because when I met him on the Jericho cruise, he might have been either a little bit taller than me or my size.
Yeah, I thought he was smaller, but he's not undersized. So
can I just say one thing? And because I like to bury these guys as much as I can. When I was on the Jericho cruise, a guy that's supposed to be playing a part of a thug, Ortiz, who actually is from New York, and Sammy Callahan, who always plays like this badass, always, devious guy. They were playing like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, some card game with the fans.
Yeah, it was like a wrestling card game.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I like to bring that up whenever I can.
All right. So next is they did so Hangman Page has an interview with Tony Schiavone. This angle on the premise is kind of silly to me because like he's supposed to be concussed and they're asking if he's cleared, and finally he's said he'll be back. He'll be cleared. This is weird. Page said if he took the red eye home tonight and his brain scan comes back good, then he'll be cleared to face Moxley next week in Los Angeles. And like if this is like real sports, this is so like it's like if a guy's got a concussion, when he gets clear, we clear him. I'm not like okay. So Moxley comes out and his mic failed.
Okay, let me just say one more thing. Okay, real quick, because I just remember this. Remember when because I wanted to say something at that moment, I lost my train of thought. But I want to, and this is not piling on them and all that, but they made a real big deal of that they were going to have this great new look. And yeah, it was different, but I think they kind of like hyped it a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't as big as the hype.
It didn't look like a big change.
Right.
It's just like, okay, it looks a little bit better. Right? So then Moxley comes out, his mic fails. Bro, Moxley went to rehab. Okay, he was having alcohol problems and everything. Bro, you got to be more disciplined. You can't be dropping F-bombs on live TV. That's if the wrong people are watching that could have very bad consequences for your show. You got to be more disciplined. He's like, he threw an F-bomb when the mic didn't work, so the mic worked. And bro, this is every Moxley angle is the exact same. A guy comes out and talks. He comes out and confronts him. They have a promo battle. The promo battle's decent, but it's like it's copy paste. Like every Moxley angle is the exact same because promos on the guy and they have a match. And like this was no different. And like there was good heated promo, whatever. But like I don't know. It's like I found myself kind of fast forwarding through portions of this promo because like I've seen this like especially with these two guys, they've done this like 3 or 4 times already, a face-to-face in-ring promo with each other for a match, and it really doesn't matter what they say, after that point. What do you think?
I thought Paige was kind of like not rambling, but kind of like all over the place.
Trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense because, I got a concussion. They're flying me in. I'm talking about my status. They haven't cleared me. It's like, what are you supposed to say, right?
Yeah, I just thought I thought Moxley was way better on the mic than him on this.
Yeah, he is.
I did like this line when Paige goes, "John, I will knock your in the dirt."
Right.
And I like when Moxley told them something about the only joke here is you because your little punk ass doesn't belong in the ring with me next week, and I'm gonna make sure you don't finish the match or something like that. I like that. That's the one good thing. He's good at promos. They may be the same, and you're right. There is a repetitive nature to Moxley, but he still always delivers good promos.
Right. So next is the tag team champions, the Acclaimed, who are the pink. I'm gonna call them the Pink Rappers. Because they're pink as their, I don't know. It's like I don't know. Like, bro, you guys are coming out in pink every week. It's like you're rappers and like maybe a different color scheme because you guys are the tag team champions and you're supposed to be tough. Anthony Bowen's isn't Anthony Bowen's dad the king of the hockey fight? The hockey fight tapes. Like remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
Like his dad. Yeah. It's like your dad's like a tough. It's like maybe like. Transfer your gimmick into being kind of like the Scissor Me, we're all happy, pink. Maybe maybe it's like get a little more tougher and edgier, because like I don't know, but this was a very good match because it was very basic and you could tell that Jeff laid it out and all they did was deliver pops. The crowd was into it huge. The timing was excellent on the finish where they had the thing like they had the perfect camera shot where they had the guy covered. 1, 2, he puts a leg up, and out of nowhere, Sanjay comes in and shoves the guy's thing up, and you don't see like the WWE does with their camera shots and everything. And then they restart the match because Aubrey, comes in and stuff and everything, and they did a good finish. And like I thought this was great. I thought this was very good TV because they did very basic, simple spots. Everything they did got a pop. Okay, the finish was done excellently because they had the camera shot perfectly. We had the cover 1, 2. Sanjay comes out of nowhere. You don't see him. He shoves the foot off, so there's no light tone. 1, 2, 3. They all sell it. They restart the match and they do a good finish. Like I thought this is very good TV. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that
it was very simple, basic Jeff Jarrett style match. We don't have to do anything that crazy, stuff, whatever.
I did like the Caster had a nice hot tag.
Right.
It's usually the other guy.
Hill baby face, hot tag. Right. That's something you don't really see a lot in this company,
Right. And giving Jay a little heat. He's the one that gave the stroke to Bowens.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah. It's my type of match. Basic, simple spots, crowd pops, whatever, Hey, Joe, tell me when Billy's ready because we'll just cut this off and then bring him in and finish this after.
Yeah, he said he's a few minutes behind, so don't worry about it.
Okay, that's fine.
And I also like Caster's rap because he talked about Karen, Dixie.
Yeah, they're selling that on social media too.
Yeah,
like
Karen is big time.
Yeah. So Jungle Boy delivered a promo. He spoke about his issues with Big Bill and Lee Moriarty and spoke about next week's show being held in his hometown. He suggested that he and Hook should take care of business. All right. So two little guys against a big guy and Lee Moriarty. So
as we'll talk about with a match later, it seems like AEW doesn't have the same issues letting guys win in their hometown. So
right. So next is Bryan Danielson against Tony Nese. This was 3 minutes, but it was actually back and forth for 3 minutes because Nese got some decent offense in. But Bryan Danielson beats him and puts him in the little bell lock. After the match, Danielson told the crowd it's great to be home. This is his hometown, so he got a good pop. He said,
I'm surprised. You know what I'm surprised about this match?
What?
They didn't give Nese 14 minutes. Okay.
Right.
That's exactly what it needed to be.
Well, the segment was 14 minutes. So because
but I mean, I'm saying,
right. That's what they usually
match,
do. Right.
Oh, we're gonna, it has to take a long time to beat him because we don't want him to look bad, bro. You've got to make it a distinction between your stars and you know what I'm saying, and everybody else.
So next is So he beats him, and after the match, he says, "Great to be back home." And he called out MJF. MJF comes out and called him a brain dead Brian. He said, "Decline to wrestle Danielson," said he'd get a big check regardless of whether he wrestles or not. And MJF said, "If Lance Storm and Dean Malenko could procreate, the child would still be more charismatic than Danielson." That was a funny line. MJF created a crack that Danielson's mother was unable to find a human suitor. The Danielson fired back that everyone in the back jokes about just how many human suitors MJF's mother has. MJF sold the joke and then took issue with Danielson thinking he's the best wrestler in the world, and MJF said his title belt proves he's the best. He mocked the idea of journalists and these marks for W. Danielson is the best in the world. Then MJF said people such as Disco Inferno, Eric Bischoff, and his number one fan, Jim Cornette, sings his praises. So let's dissect that. He's absolutely right there. All the dirt sheet guys and marks think Bryan Danielson is the best, and guys like me, Eric, and Bischoff think that MJF is the best. So there was no lies told there. Did you pop when you heard that, Konnan?
Yes. Danielson
told him to shut up.
But yet he won't come on our show.
Right. Danielson told him to shut up, and that's very disrespectful by Danielson because I thought what MJF said was very, very accurate. He said he made a mom joke and he's okay with that, but he hates MJF and thinks it's time for them to fight. And MJF said if Danielson wants a shot at the title, has to become number one contender. MJF said he spoke with Tony Khan, who determined that if Danielson won all of his matches between now and February 8th, then he'd become the number one contender. MJF said he's known for making people jump through hoops. He said if Danielson could pull it off, he would give him a shot at the title at AEW Revolution. Danielson shot it down. MJF said Khan and the EVPs don't run the company, he does. MJF says lawyer was seen with that Danielson doesn't get a title shot. MJF says that his way or no way, and Danielson says Sterling is a horrible lawyer, which is true. Danielson said he would humor MJF by agreeing to stipulations as long as MJF allowed him to pick the stipulation for their match at Revolution. Danielson, and this reads long, but the crowd was digging it. Okay,
right.
Danielson ended up announcing the stipulation would be a 1-hour Iron Man match, and MJF showed concern. Danielson asked MJF if he was scared, and he said, "You're on." MJF said. He told Danielson he's choked whenever he's gotten a big opportunity in AEW, and Danielson said he would run through every opponent that MJF puts in front of him, then he'll expose MJF at Revolution and kick his head in. This is a good verbal exchange because Danielson was in his hometown and MJF had good heat. I would like to see the rating, what the rating did at the minute. Do you do the minute by minute show? because I want to see what the minute by minute was when my name was mentioned. I'm pretty sure the ratings went up after that. Would you agree with that? Maybe?
No.
You don't think that happened?
No, I think they.
What if that did happen? What if we did the minute by minutes and like
it didn't.
Second? How do you know that? Where's your evidence?
Because you're not over.
Well, I'm over enough to the champion of AEW.
Just got you over. Let me just.
No. If I'm not over, the AEW champion is not going to mention my name.
Let me just. He's trying to give you the rub, but let me tell you.
Why would he give me a rub? I gave him the rub.
But let me tell you something. I like that line of the Lance Storm and Dean Malenko. Right. That was funny, and I also think here's something people don't know. He's a really, really good wrestler. These matches with Bryan Danielson are going to be really good. He's not just all Mike. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No minute by minutes yet, DI.
All right.
But it actually is Dynamite's lowest 18-49 demo for 2 years.
Really?
That isn't, yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of, I just think really, bro, no shade. I just think they don't feel they've lost steam. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say this.
Because at the beginning, you were kind of watching because they were new to see what they were doing, and they got Punk, and then they got this guy, and they got, Miro came in, and you were waiting. They've bought everybody up. There's no more surprises. And then everybody that's there, they don't know what to do with it. And
what about
caught on?
What about Sasha? She's still a surprise that's left.
No, or let me tell you something.
Big deal, bro, but the show is what it is. Yeah.
If what I've been saying, that this is almost a highlight of what I've been saying. And I'm kind of like, I'm still in. We do this, we watch these shows, so we're kind of in. We get in this bubble a little bit. Everything, I've said repeatedly that when the Dirt Sheet guys and the Mark podcasters put over these shows, they don't do good in the numbers. And it comes to maybe it accentuates my point that the stuff that the Dirt Sheet guys and the Mark podcasters do not resonate with the general audience of the people that you need to draw to get good numbers. I mean, and this is kind of evidence of that, because everybody and their mother said this is a great show, and I thought it was pretty good too. But maybe the people, because we watch a show every week too, the people that don't watch a show or casual viewers and stuff, maybe this stuff is not resonating with them, and that's something that needs to be addressed. Bro, when you guys think the show is really good and it underwhelms in the numbers, you don't just sit there and say, well, the show did really good with our base. Say, well, wait a second. Why did it not do good if we thought it should do good because we liked it a lot? And I think they need to get outside the box and look at it from that metric and start attacking the show. And it was funny too, because the show didn't have a lot of the typical work that I don't like on the show.
Right.
There wasn't a lot.
And it was a good show. Like I said,
it wasn't bad. But
think that people, people that are watching it every week might be thinking, I can miss this week because it hasn't really been hot. Right. I don't know, Well, let me give you this. Maybe because I would love to see the minute by minutes, because I want to see the segments that went down and the segments that went up, because this segment I think went down. That's coming up next that I'm going to talk about. So we had Swerve. This is funny, dude. Bro, I don't know how to describe this other than the way Jason Powell describes this. Swerve Strickland with Parker Boudreaux and other dude. Right.
who's the other guy now? Have they named the guy? Have a name yet or anything?
I don't think he has a character name.
Well, so why are they bringing a guy out? You're confusing the audience. Who's that guy? You never mention him. You never talk about it. It's there's a guy out there that looks like a skinhead that's with Swerve, and we have no clue who he is. So it's against AR Fox, right? And this match was your typical match that I think does not resonate with the general audience. Because, bro, the first 3 to 5 minutes of this match was all dives, flips, and somersaults.
Okay, let me just say this. This is where I disagree. I think this is what I do think. It does resonate with the new audience. It doesn't resonate with our audience, the time, our age, because we didn't grow up with that. But this is what wrestling is now. You know what I'm saying?
But half the audience is over 50 years old, Konnan.
Yeah, but when you go into the audience, they're not over 50 years old. I don't know where they get that from.
Well, when I go to
the live shows, I don't see a majority 50-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's a lot younger people that are watching the show too. Well,
Konnan, there's 6,000 people watching the show live, and there's 900,000 people watching on TV, and maybe 30,000 of the people that are watching on TV are turning the channel when these guys are doing flips and somersaults and like this does not look like a wrestling match. This does not look like a wrestling match.
Well,
like
not every
like
match
sports.
Shouldn't be alike. This is a different style match. This is kind of lucha-centric. This is kind of, and the thing is, AR Fox and Strickland, I think they used to wrestle together, or maybe
for sure.
Fox, so and I know they definitely wrestled in Lucha Underground.
All right, well, let's see what this did in the minute by minutes and when Brandon Thurston's minute by minutes go out.
Can you get that, Joe, or no?
I'll profess this to not
available
do
yet.
Okay, I will profess this to not do good, and I would lay like if it was like odds, I would say it would be the equivalent of like if the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the Atlanta Falcons, and like I would predict that like I would be the Kansas City Chiefs, and that would be my like the level of my confidence in my prediction. Okay, so here's another epic fail. Renee Paquette conducted a sit-down interview with Saraya, Tony Storm, and wait, time out. We missed something here because there was a Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter interview with Britt Baker did all the talking again and did absolutely nothing for Jamie Hayter. Yeah, that was earlier before the Jack Perry interview. What'd you think of that, by the way?
What?
The Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker sit-down where Britt Baker did like 90% of the talking.
She's on every show. She's on every she's just overexposed.
Right. Like the champ did 10% of the talking, the other girl did 90%. Right. It's like, come on. So then they did a sit down with, and this was your classic that we talk about sometimes where, they give them time. Okay, you have this amount of time, so everybody has to talk fast because we have to get all our shit in the time, and what we get in is meaningless. Saraya said she was sitting next to the best wrestler in the world, and Saraya told Storm that she would be her partner. Sheeta was noticeably bothered by it, and the broadcast team agreed that she was disrespected. And it's like I wish Sheeta would have a very short. Yeah, this is
what I thought at that moment because Sheeta has got that what do you call this? Mike Pence charisma, none.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No. She's just sitting there,
bro. I wish she would have just got up and slapped her. Korean slapped her, beat the out of her, and said, "What do you mean she's the best wrestler? Who the do you think I am?"
Right.
And then pulled out that 50 win trophy that they gave her.
Right. Bro, honestly,
get some charisma.
How much better over would that have been, right?
Right.
And then we're trying to tell the stories like, oh, she had a facial expression that looked like she was upset.
Right.
And that's how we're selling this. Come on, it's like,
beat the like what happened. Like right now, we're excited with Dollar Bill. With Dollar Store, whatever his name is, because he got a little bit of an attitude.
Right.
They were making fun of him.
Yeah, right.
And he might turn heel and be get some, because nobody's behind him right now, bro. Nobody's behind Sheet except I guess
I don't know.
The diehards.
All right, this was the best segment on the show coming up because it was very well done, and these guys are very good at it. Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn walked in and out in non-wrestling gear, and a graphic appeared on the screen that listed FTRIP, May 27, 2020 to December 21st, 2022. They headed the ring where photos of Dax Harwood and Casher Wheeler were set up along with black wreaths. The Gunns held a funeral for the FTR duo and asked the crowd for a moment of silence. FTR music hit, and Taz said he didn't see FTR all day, and the Gunns acted scared and started laughing at the crowd falling for it. And they said FTR would never work again in AEW again because they are true living legends. Wow, this is a very lame description of that segment by Jason Powell. This is very good. These guys showed good personality.
They always do.
It was a good outside the box segment. It wasn't like your typical, they had it. I thought it was very good. I'm digging these guys. First of all, they're talented in the ring, even though they're still a little bit green, but they're getting better. But they definitely have incredible personality.
Right. Bro, and when FTR's music sounded, they just laughed.
Right. Yeah. So next was Jade Cargill and Red Velvet versus Kiera Hogan and Sky Blue. I fast forwarded through this. God. Was it that bad? I
didn't see it, but just that. Whoa.
I like Jade Cargill, so I fast forward through her matches to the end because I don't want to see her looking green because I think she's a star. But like, I did see the end. So she pins a Blue, but Blue right before she kicked her, kind of did that thing like she looked like scared she was going to get hit. Like watch this replay.
Bro, let me just say this. This is a all of a sudden, she kicked Kiera Hogan out of the group, which she didn't need her to begin with. We don't even know why, really. All of a sudden now she's having problems with Red Velvet. We don't really know why either. And this is just all, the match wasn't that good. It was sloppy. Nobody's really over except Cargill, and they've done a really bad job with her like they've done with Wardlow. She should be a way bigger megastar than she is. She shouldn't be with this, really.
All right, so I want to make a point here too.
And this other girl, Sky Blue or whatever her name is, now she's going to be going for like a title off of this match, bro. And to me, she's not really for prime time. No. But
so I want to make a point here. So this was very interesting, and I think it's a highlight of why Rampage doesn't do any good numbers, right? Because like you have Rampage, and they're setting up promos on Dynamite to build matches on Rampage, and the promo's like a minute and a half, and they're kind of cool. And then they do Rampage, like, bro, if you want Rampage and Dynamite, this whole show to be like working together, you need to like continue storylines, right? So here are the matches for Rampage. So in the pay-per-view and coming up on Dynamite in the pay-per-view, we have Jon Moxley against Adam Page and Bryan Danielson against MJF, right? And so here are the matches like that are a bridge from the storylines that we're trying to tell between Rampage, Dynamite, and everything. Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson versus Top Flight. Now, where does that fit in the angles that Moxley and Bryan Danielson have going on?
It does not at all.
House of Black speak. What have they been on TV since they came back and have done absolutely nothing?
Yeah, have they appeared at all since Aleister Black returned?
Preston Vance in action.
Oh, nice.
All right, Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, get ready for the quote, Konnan, versus the Renegade Sisters. The Renegade Konnan.
He's muted.
Who?
There we go. So I don't know. Like to Tony, there's a shout out to Tony Khan, bro. Booking is very difficult, but when you're booking a company and you have multiple shows, your angles kind of got to like integrate from show to show. You can't just book a bunch of matches on one show and keep it like completely separate from the rest of the storylines you're telling, which is what which Rampage looked like. There's nothing here furthering storylines that they're trying to tell. So that's a mistake they're making. So they interviewed Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal Sanjay, and our boy Satnam Singh, and Jeff got a pretty good promo. Said why they lost earlier, and there would be whatever typical Rampage promo, but he had good emotion.
Where would you rank Jeff Jarrett right now on your favorite acts on the AEW programming?
Top 5?
Top 5, yeah.
I mean, he's just very professional.
So you mean he's number 5 then?
Bro, he looks great. He's almost I think he's older than me, and but he looks physically great. He's cutting good promos. He does not look old in the ring at all. So so why would you? He's a very seasoned, experienced character that you need. That they actually should be getting as much mileage out of Jeff as they can right now because he's good TV.
He is 55 years old.
Yeah, he's my age. Yeah, and he looks great. Shout out!
Hell of a year. Hell of a year.
All right, let me give you this. So next week, Jon Moxley versus Page, Hayter and Baker versus Soraya and Storm, Bryan Danielson versus Takashita, Jungle Boy and Hook versus Big Bill and Lee Moriarty, and Death Triangle versus
Big
Elite.
Bill. What a great name!
Yeah, and Death Triangle versus Elite in the ladder match for the titles. So, Darby, you do a video with him, typical character stuff with the skateboard and stuff, everything. So he comes out and he has him. So, bro, the crowd dug this. This is his hometown, and that's fine. Give him a good pop. He's actually been cutting pretty good promos, so I'm going to give him credit for winning the match. Him and Sting, they hugged after the match, everything on. But I'm just thinking like this, like from a philosophical standpoint, it's like, dude, it's like, well, what was this? What was the number again, Joe?
864.
Your number was 864, and like you had Wardlow getting choked out by this guy.
Let me tell you,
and like then you had this little guy beating him. It's like this weird.
It's even worse than that. Okay, here's where they made a huge mistake. Okay, no shade, just advice.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna point this out one more time. I criticize my own shows. I criticize my own product, and nothing happened. Okay, absolutely nothing happens. I get credibility with my fans. I don't evade questions. I don't evade the obvious. Okay, put that shoe on whoever it fits on the best.
Right.
Okay, bro, this is a big mistake they made, and I was gonna say the same thing, Disco. So you had a chance to make Warlord, and actually what you did was mega bury him, right? After you spent so much time getting him over, where he could have been the hottest act in the company, right? You could have him mega hot right now. And so you had him lose to you had him beat you had him lose to Joe, right? And then you go to Seattle and you have Darby Allin beat him, which I'm fine with, and you keep Darby hot. Bro, you couldn't have gotten another guy to fight Wardlow and put Wardlow over strong and have Darby beat Samoa Joe. Now you have Darby and Wardlow who are strong. Samoa Joe, who nothing happens to him because he's Samoa Joe, just like nothing happens to Chris Jericho, right? You couldn't have done that.
Right. That's
what they should have done.
These are booking
and now
errors.
You got one hot guy and you got one guy that's cold. Now you're going to have to resuscitate the guy.
Right.
After all you had to do was beat Joe. That's all you had to do. Beat Joe.
You can't have. It's like if you had the underdog, undersized babyface guy, right? You can't have that at multiple angles on the show. Where you can't have Hook and Jungle Boy, beating Big Bill and stuff. These guys, you can't have Darby beating. Bill. You can't have them. You can't have them all the little guys beating all the big guys every time they're matched up. It's just the visual picture on the show does not make a lot of sense. And here's my other thing. Where's Lance Archer? What happened to Christian Cage and Luchasaurus?
Right. What happened to Miro?
Christian got hurt.
What happened to bro? Where are all your big guys?
So he can't talk. He can't. No, he can't have him on the show talking.
Show would be a lot better if he was talking.
Where is all your size? Like wrestling is, I'm sorry, but that's a thing in professional wrestling. People are attracted to larger than life characters. Why are you benching and burying all your larger than life characters and promoting all the smaller than life characters? That is, and I'm looking at the numbers, 860,000. You're not drawing over 1 million people. And I will tell you, change your philosophy. Maybe start pushing your big guys and have them start beating up the small guys and getting some heat. Maybe we're building these small guys up to eventually get beat up by the big guys and give them some heat. But right now, this philosophy is not drawing you any fans. You're not increasing your fan base. And I think and I would say, because we're talking about this, we see it. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that see it. Half your fan base is over 50 years old. They're looking at this and they're like, why are all the little guys beating all the big guys? Where are all the big guys and why are the big guys can't beat anybody up? And I would just say that, bro, bring back Jungle Boy or bring back Luchasaurus and Christian, have them start, just start bringing back your big guys and see what happens when they start beating people up. It's better TV. It's faker TV when 125-pound guys are beating 280-pound guys. It's just, it does not. I'm having a hard time.
Just big guys draw, bro. Just like in the movies, Godzilla and King Kong. Holy.
I talked to Vince McMahon, right? Just imagine, if you have. I'm going to throw MJF in there because he's kind of like a sort of undersized, but he's like Jericho's size, but it's not undersized, but you're average size. You're not larger than life, right? But his mouth, MJF,
right?
But his mouth makes him larger
major league, right?
Right. His mouth makes him major league. You expand, right? So imagine if you had the top performers that you're promoting on your show right now: MJF, Darby Allin, Hook, Jungle Boy. And imagine all four of those guys standing in the ring together. And then look at go back to 1997 when 11 million people on Monday nights were watching Austin Rock, and look at a visual picture of in the middle of the ring you got Hogan, Luger, Macho, Sting, Nash, Hall, and all these guys are standing in the ring together. And look at those two visual pictures. And bro, the visual picture right there means a lot. You got grown-ass, big-ass men standing in there cutting promos on people, and here you're promoting smaller guys beating big guys. Maybe it's like this diversity, inclusion, and equity thing, like where we're trying to, like, where the small people can beat. I don't know. It's like you need to. You have a lot of great assets there. You got Brian Cage, Luchasaurus, Lance Archer, Miro. Bro, throw these guys on TV and have them start beating people up. And
or beating each other up.
Or beating each other up. Like, it's better in the big picture of professional wrestling. We're wrestling the principles of professional wrestling are based on larger life characters. Get your larger life characters back on television.
Have Hobbs fighting Brian Cage. Yeah. Have Lantrud fighting. Had some big Haas matches. And him.
Yeah.
They
don't have that on the show. Like literally, when are the big Haas matches on the show?
No, they hardly have it at all. I don't think so. Yeah. They do have Adam Page with the
flowers on the jeans.
With the butterflies and the thing and the tassels and
So that's been our AEW review.
Yeah,
I like the show. So did I. We're critiquing on a different level, but the show was entertaining. Absolutely.
Yeah.